In my last video, I did something about empowering our kids. And somebody had asked me a question that what do I think should be done differently? The truth is, a lot of us complain that we don't have the funds to probably send our kids to these educational camps or extracurricular activities, which I probably understand. But what baffles me is when I see people that also use this excuse are able to afford the latest Nike shoes, the latest Jordan shoes for their kids. Or maybe the parents themselves that say they cannot afford these things can afford to buy party clothes, different party clothes every weekend for different party events. I think from this perspective that is a matter of priority. If we don't get our priorities right, then we're going to keep running into this situation. Why is it possible, or how is it possible that you can afford to buy different party clothes all the time or buy expensive things for your kids, yet you can't send them to educational camps? It depends on, it tells you that obviously the priorities are not straight. If you think the kids' education is more important, whatever funds that you're diverting to buying those kids the latest iPhone and the latest headphone, Bluetooth headset and things like that, direct it to the kids' education. Those kids can, whatever you invest in their brain, nobody can take it away from them. Bluetooth headphone of $200 or $250, how long is it going to last? Probably a year or two. The child wants another one. Or something new comes up and the child wants the new technology. That money is gone. But if you spend that $200 enrolling the child in an educational class, that knowledge, nobody can ever take the knowledge away from that child. And the child will have that knowledge to build upon rather than material things that they can use today and not use tomorrow. Technology changes every time, so we have to be aware of that. If we believe today my child needs to have the latest iPhone, tomorrow your child needs to have the latest Samsung phone, your child needs to have the latest gears, the latest clothing and things like that, then a time will come when you can no longer afford those things and the funds are no longer available. All that funds that you wasted on those things will not take the child to the next level. But the person that spent funds on that child's education has laid a foundation that the child will continue to build upon. That child tomorrow can develop their own app or build their own phones. Instead of you spending the little money you have enriching a company that's already declaring billions every quarter, spend that money on your child. Spend it on the child's education. Educate your child. Educate your child. Whatever funds you spend educating your child will help that child get out of poverty line easier. Education is the key to most minorities being able to break out of that barrier, poverty barrier. Most times education is the key that helps minority groups get out of that circle. And that's why you find a lot of immigrants, the wiser ones, spend their time and money empowering their kids. So we as black people should learn to do the same thing. Buy your child the best that you can afford. True, if you can afford it. But priority should be first and foremost the child's education. Send the child to the best schools you can afford. Send the kids to the extracurricular activities that you can afford. Even if they want to go into sports, send them to sports academy where they'll get more knowledge. They want to go into music, send them to music academy. But the whole idea that the child that will be should stop. Even the farmer in the village is smart enough to know that you don't just plant your crops and leave it. They water it. and they plant it at the right time based on the right temperature. So why should we leave our kids to destiny, believing that the child that will become a king will be no matter what? I don't believe in it. Let's all do our part and raise our kids the best way that we can. Even if they don't turn out well, at least your conscience is clear that you did the best that you could for that child. So let's use our resources wisely. We're already a minority group. We can only come out of that group if we become the people that dictate the rules. You will never be able to dictate the rules so long as you maintain consumerism culture. You only consume, you don't produce. The more you consume, the wealthier the producer is. So those guys that are producing it become wealthy the more you consume their products. The best thing is to make sure that you are the one producing it. You are the one dictating it, not the consumer. So the little resources we have should not be spent on consumption. Should be spent on developing our mental capability. Our kids can go to the next level if we empower them to do it. Other than that, they probably may just end up a little above where we stopped, if not below. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all. Leave your comments in the comment section. I'd like to hear from you. Thank you.